It's great to be in your energy again, Bashar.
Well, thank you.
Good
day to you.
Thank you. I'm going to choose to speak technical today.
Technical, all right.
So,
Talk tech.
Continuing from our previous conversation earlier this year, I'm left with questions about gravity.
Yes.
And about the nested capacitor design.
Yes.
So we spoke about the prime radiant.
Yes.
And its relationship to the...
You've just lost half the audience.
You wish to explain then?
Prime radiant, very briefly, is simply the idea that if you imagine, and this is just an analogy, imagine a single particle in all of existence. If you wish, imagine one tiny little subatomic particle in a big black void. Nothing else exists. This one tiny particle, because it's the only thing, has no rules. It can go as fast as it wants. If it travels thus then at infinite speed throughout this black void, in whatever pattern it wishes, it will appear to be many particles all at once, because it's going so fast it can appear next to itself over and over and over again at the same time. This is how reality is structured, and that's why you literally are made of the same thing that everyone and everything else is. This is the prime radiant idea from our civilization. Please continue.
Correct. So you spoke about structure.
Yes.
And in our conversation, we related the prime radiant to gravity.
In a sense, yes, there is an aspect of that, obviously, that creates what you experience as gravity, yes.
Okay, so in the idea of the fabric of space and time,
yes.
Gravity appears to be an energy of high vibrational quality.
Yes.
Why? Because it bends it.
Well, so to speak, yes.
At least to our modern day scientists.
Yes.
And it's still very misunderstood.
Oh, yes.
Or highly non-understood.
Yes.
So could you expand on a little more on the nature of gravity, how to create it, handle
yes.
it, harness it, and manipulate it?
Turn around and look at the holotope. Do you see the holotope?
Yes.
Do you see the geometric pattern?
The fractal, yes.
Do you see where the lines cross each other and where they don't?
Yes.
The idea is that where the lines cross each other the most is what you call the crystallization of energy down into matter. The idea is that the relationship of those nodal points is gravity. Do you understand this analogy?
Yes.
Then there you go. Allow yourself to understand how the nodal points are reflective of the matrix in which the material exists, and you will understand how to stretch and bend those nodal points according to certain geometric patterns, such as Fibonacci spirals. So when you understand the idea of Fibonacci spirals and how they overlap and create overlapping nodal points and cross each other again and again and again in certain ways and expand in certain ways, you will understand everything you need to know about the ideas of gravity, about the ideas of dark matter, about the ideas of dark energy, and why what you call your physical universe seems to be accelerating instead of slowing down. One example. If you understand the idea of taking a Fibonacci spiral in one direction and a Fibonacci spiral in the opposite direction, you will understand that the spirals where they cross and cross again and cross again and cross again will be constantly farther and farther and farther and farther and farther apart. Yes?
Correct.
Well, if you understand that that's representative of the expansion of your universe, you will understand that that's why it's accelerating, because the idea of the spiral is it has to cover more distance to reach the next nodal point. By being that particular kind of curve, it does so, and in your space-time reality, that translates out to the idea of greater distance over the same time equals acceleration. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then there you go. Learn the vibrational state of those Fibonacci spiral nodal points, and you will understand the relationship of gravity to matter, and you will understand the idea of how to manipulate the vibrations in order to manipulate gravity's relationship to matter. That's one way to approach it. There are several ways, but that's the way that we are talking about right here in terms of the idea of geometric structure.
Okay. You spoke about the vibrational nature of matter just now. And that actually leads to my second question.
Oh, all right.
So when we spoke, you mentioned that in order for an object to go from location A to location B,
yes.
all we would need to do would be to
change the locational variable of the object itself.
Which is vibration.
Location, it is a frequency within an energy equation, a signature vibration. Because location is not somewhere that an object exists in. Location is one of the properties of the object. And the object here and the object here are actually two different objects, because of the change and difference in the locational variable within the overall energy equation of that so-called object.
So in the present day, how can we measure that vibrational frequency?
Get a very, very, very flat table that's at least 6 to 10 feet long. Very flat. Take a very thin copper ball, about 3 inches, 4 inches in diameter, hollow, very thin, as perfectly round as you can make it. Put it at one end of the table. Strike it and get it to vibrate, or vibrate it through some other means. Measure those vibrations as precisely as you can. Then move the ball to the other end of the table and repeat that measurement. Find the difference in those two measurements. If your instruments are sensitive enough, you will ultimately discover the difference in those two frequencies. And when you do, then you can put the ball back in position A, and then either acoustically or electromagnetically, or any way you wish, bombard it, overwhelm it, in a sense, with the vibrational frequency that is specific to the other end of the table when the object was there, and you will see that the object will at least, if not disappear from here and wind up over there instantaneously, it will at least roll across the table to its new position and stop. And you will have begun to learn to chart the idea of that vibrational matrix map, which is what we use, and impose it over the idea of the physical reality, so that we understand, like a C chart, what the vibrational coordinates are for all the locations we wish to go to. Thus, then we isolate our ship in an electromagnetic gravitational bubble, unlock it from any particular reality, impose upon it the vibrational locational equation of where we wish to go, and thus then when we remove the bubble, pop, we disappear from there, and pop, we appear at our destination. Ultimately, you can do it that way, but begin with something like this experiment and allow your imagination to be your guide to alter it in whatever way, shape, or form you so desire. But as soon as your instruments are sensitive enough to tell the difference in the vibration of an object in two different locations, you'll be on your way to charting the vibrational map of the universe.
Perfect.
All right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.